Okay, so Bigfoot and Cthulhu have an epic martial arts fight in the middle of the forest. Let's get into it. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a little bit since I've done a rapid review, but I am back here with one that I really think everybody's going to enjoy for today. I'm here to talk to you guys about Bigfoot Knows Karate. You heard me say at the top, Bigfoot versus Cthulhu, epic martial arts battle in the middle of the woods. That's basically what this book is. Or is it? Yeah, that... When I get into telling you guys about this story, you'll see what I mean by that little cryptic line right there. So this is co-created, written, and art by Dan Price, co-writer and editor Casey Allen, and then you have a couple of variant covers available, which are really awesome, by the way, by Matthew Skillern and Adam Caswell. If there's anybody's names here that I didn't get right, please let me know in the comments, because I'm really want to make sure that I get these right going forward, because this is a book and a series that I really think I'm going to be talking about for a long time, if it's anything like this opening issue that I'm about to tell you guys about. So yeah, so the main two characters for the most part of the book are Bigfoot and Kungfu Thulu. Talk about a dope name. So yeah, the book basically opens up, it's very cool. It's Bigfoot meditating, doing his thing. You can see he's dressed in this kind of like what you would see like a monk in martial arts in some ways, dressed in, but he's meditating. You see a rabbit, and then, you know, boom, he basically kills a wolf, because he's kind of doing this talking while he's meditating. Basically, it's not talking, it's his inner thoughts. And then boom, kills a wolf to basically protect the rabbit. And then he's just holding on to the rabbit, and then he gets shot in the arm because somebody is trying to hunt the rabbit. And the next couple of pages are he's kind of stalking these two guys, and it's hilarious because the two of them were like, "Dang it, Elmer!" I believe that's the guy's name. He goes, "Thought you said you could shoot." "Well, I would, but dang thing's so fast." Blah, blah, blah. So that's at least what I heard in my head between these two, going back and forth. And he's stalking them. Boom, he knocks them out. And in this, he kind of got like a superficial wound on his arm. So he's like, "I'm going to meditate." He's like, he feels bad that he had to do what he did to the guys. So he's sitting here, he's meditating, and he talks about how he goes to this place while he's meditating, like kind of like another plane. He talks about seeing a bridge in front of him, this and that, and you hear, excuse me, and you hear like someone warn him that someone is coming to get him. And no sooner than this happens, you hear, "Wake up, wake up, wake up." And in front of him is Kungfu Thulu. Now, to give you an idea of how everything's going to go, Bigfoot is probably about the size of a normal human, 6 foot something, you just somewhere around there, but built really well. Kungfu Thulu is gigantic. Think several stories tall, at least. And the way Jay pictures his voice, and it's kind of how I see it a little bit in my head, he talks a little bit. I see it as a cross of like Hulk Hogan, and then if anybody has seen, I can't think of the name of the movie, but if I see it, I'll try to think it and put the words up here on the screen. But Bruce Leroy, and it's Shonuff, the way that guy talks, it's a combination of the two of them with Snake thrown in there, because the S's are very on some of the words. That's kind of how we hear Kungfu Thulu talk in our head. Because Bigfoot really doesn't talk just yet. A lot of what he's doing is just in his mind. You're hearing his thoughts for the most part. So these next few panels are just an epic back and forth trash talk old school kind of like martial arts fight that you think you would see in kung fu movies and whatnot. And it is going back and forth between the two because Bigfoot realizes that he's obviously outgunned here because of the fact that he's so small. So he's trying to figure out ways to move around, use his swords that he carries, and slice through him and this and that. And it's epic. And the art and the sound effects through this whole thing are spot on. It really felt like it came off the page for me, at least. And like I said, it had that kind of like old karate movie feel to it, going back and forth. Now, before I move forward, let me give you a little bit of backstory, and then we're going to finish the book, because this is kind of where the twist happens. At this point, Kungfu Thulu has Bigfoot in his hand, and he's got him underwater, drowning him. So, when Dan and Casey had talked about the book, they did the Kickstarter, which is where we got this from. I had seen them do interviews. Anytime they talked about the book, this is all they talked about, was the big fight between Kungfu Thulu and Bigfoot. And so when it came as quick as it did, I was kind of like, wow, okay, they kind of got into this early, so I'm thinking it's going to be a multiple battle kind of thing between the two. You know, that he might get his butt kicked in this issue, and the rest of the issue is going to be him kind of retrospecting what can I do to beat the guy, etc., etc. No. Dan and Casey, let me give you two mad props for just talking about maybe the first half of the book and getting everybody, including myself, Jay, and Jenna, hooked on this entire series. Because what transpires next, did not see coming. Jay and I were reading this literally at the same time, and we were reading this on our, we got the digital version on the big screen to give you perspective. So we're both reading this, we're going through it. When this twist happens, we literally spent the next 5 or 10 minutes on every page going, what the holy, you name it. It was phrases of amazement and like, oh my God, is this really happening? Until the very end of the book. Alright, so now that we've got that little bit of backstory and you can kind of see where we were when we were reading this, let's talk about this twist. So as he's underwater, basically drowning, you then immediately switch to a monitor. You can see this, it's like somebody's monitoring the fight on a screen. And you see, we're going to lose him. And then you basically can think of like some kind of like higher up going, it's your call, Mr. Lancaster, live or die. And it says, soldier activated. All of a sudden you see Bigfoot's eyes open and they're red. And he proceeds to grow. So basically now at this point he's bigger than Cthulhu and proceeds to just kick his rear. I mean, it's tearing him apart. He's ripping the tentacles, punching him every which way, just beating the ever-living crap out of this guy. And then he's finally got him on the ropes, and he's got his hand up, and Cluedo's like, you don't have the studs. Go ahead and effing boom. And he just basically takes his head off. Jay and I are just going, what the ever, through this whole part of the thing. Not as much so as these next couple of pages. So he gets done with this, and immediately he starts calming down. He starts shrinking back to normal size. You think, okay, that was a weird twist. Can't wait to see where this goes in the next issue. Nah, they weren't done yet. They were not done yet. So immediately, he doesn't even barely have time to catch his breath. He looks up, and you see this kind of black silhouette character with a red symbol on their chest, and Bigfoot at this point he's like, doesn't have time. He starts charging, and the guy just raises his hand and goes, stop. And at this point you see we now realize he calls him Benny. So this is Bigfoot's name, is apparently Benny. Benny basically just stops, stone cold in his tracks. He's almost filled with some kind of fear that he cannot control. Guy grabs him. He's like, Benny, you disappoint me. And he starts beating the ever living crap out of Benny. They never tell you what this gentleman's name is. Beats him up, boom, and all of a sudden a couple of helicopters are here, and you basically figure out that Benny, Cthulhu, and whoever this mystery character is that we don't have a name of just yet are apparently part of some like military or big government experiment, because he goes apparently he bet whomever was in charge like 50 grand that he can take care of Bigfoot or Benny in this case. And he said he changed the game with the whole growing thing. Apparently that was something that he didn't know about. But he tell him he owes me 50K. And they proceed to talk about, well, what do we do with these two? He goes, take Thulu, patch him up, sew his head back on, whatever you got to do to repair him. Benny, take him in, fix him, but leave his head open because they're going to tinker some more. And I think some of what Benny's thoughts in his head were during the whole thing were him remembering in some weird deep way the experiments or whatever was done to his head and the programming that's in there. I think that's some of it. I could be dead wrong, but we'll find out. I'm so excited to read issue 2 because, like I said, the whole pitch was just Kungfu Thulu versus Bigfoot in a big epic martial arts battle. We got that. And then this twist, literally for about the last 5 or 6 pages of the book, I was stunned. By the time we got done with that, I think we immediately jumped on like Instagram and messaged Dan. We were like, what the... Whoa. It was like, dude, we were not expecting that. And we've told Dan and Casey as many times as we could. It's like, y'all did an amazing job writing the story, because for what you described was 100% accurate. What we got was so much more. And yeah, I haven't been this excited about a story in a long time, and it's one of those where I hate that it took us a little while to do this video, because Jay and I actually intended to do this together, but our schedules have been so hectic as far as getting them synced up that it just hadn't been able to happen. So we're getting this out. So yeah, Dan and Casey, by the way, just know that we feel bad that it did take this long, but we are so excited to get the rest of the series and see what happens. So yeah, story aside, the art in this book fits the tone. It is amazing. Dan is an amazing artist. I've watched this gentleman, and the crazy part is he does the art digitally, which I'm sure is, you see a kind of a good mix these days between digital and pencils and inks. But Dan has more talent in his pointer finger. That's what he draws with. And I've watched him draw Bigfoot, and it amazes me to see what you can do. I'm so used to people having I figure if you're going to do it, you're going to have like a stylus on the screen, like, something like this. And yeah, just the art is so good. We'll definitely try to be sure to link you to the website, which I think is BigfootKnowsKarate.com. I know that Dan has like a TeePublic store, so you can get some merchandise like shirts, maybe mugs, art prints, stuff like that. We'll put the link to that in the description below as well. But man, I hope issue 2 comes sometime this year before the end of the year, because I gotta know more about that twist. I have to know. Plus, like I said, gotta see more of that art, and everything that they have planned. I know they've got big plans for this series, and I said, color me a fan, dude. It's just there are not enough positive words that I can use in one sentence to describe how great of a time I had reading this book. It's just so good. But yeah, if this sounds like anything that you like, man, check it out. BigfootKnowsKarate.com. Check out some of the merch on TeePublic. Show Dan and Casey some love. They're on Instagram. We'll be sure to post those socials there. Dan always does lives where he's doing some cool drawings. He's a very, very approachable, awesome human, and Casey is the same way, but Dan does the lives probably a little more. So, and feel free to just ask him questions about the story. He would love to know your feedback, especially if you have read it. Just tell him what you think. Did you like it as much as we did? That's what we want to know too. Leave a comment. Did you like it as much as we did if you have read it? If not, I sure hope that my excitement and I did a good enough job of explaining the story that maybe you do want to go check it out and get a copy for yourself. I know that Dan and Casey, I think, are doing some Comic Cons and whatnot. So, like I said, follow their socials. Maybe you can figure out where they're going to be. If they're going to be near you, go check them out. Get the book. He brings copies with him all the time, and I think it'll be well worth your effort and enjoyment. But yeah, again, just chef's kiss. That's all I'm going to say. I'm just going to keep going and rambling on and on and on and on. But yeah, it's such a great book. I can't wait for issue 2. So yeah, that's all I've got for you guys without rambling on and on and on. So if you liked what you saw, be sure to hit the thumbs up, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you know anytime we upload a new video. As always, you guys please stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll catch you guys next time. Later, everybody.